Okay, it is Saturday, the 10th of Feb, I think, about 1700 hours, thereabouts, yeah. Yeah, I haven't been around for a while. There was another video before this one, that will be after this one. I'm going to do that tomorrow, which is Sunday. Explains a bit more about certain things. I'm not going to go into that now. Watch the video. Mainly this video was, it's 5 minutes long, so you know, I just want to explain a few things about the future really and what's going to be happening, the new video formats and all the rest of it. That video that you're going to see next, there's a lot of data logging in it, and it shows some of the new stuff that I'm doing with my cathodes and stuff like that. A lot of interesting data logging, a lot of high current work from the small batteries again. What I intend to show nowadays is not so much the intermediate steps, because that can get boring. I want to show more of a leap than a step, so that's what I'm going to be attempting to do in the near future. Now, new format. Okay, what's that all about then? Well, I'll tell you. I've got 3 batteries set up on the bench. One is my test piece, that I call it. Well, there's 2 test pieces actually. Well, no, they're all test pieces. What am I talking about? The first one is that small piece of, I'll show you. These small pieces of graphite that I used to use, 40mm by 60 I think, or 50, something like that. That's one of my initial test pieces for the new materials that I'm blending up, you know, the carbons. So what I do with that is I put 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters squared of active material on that, and I'll tell you what, I think I do show this, but it sort of I do a short circuit on that and you get like 1.2 amps, you know, 1.2 amps out of that as a peak. Anyway, that's the first test piece. The second test piece is a paper battery design. Now that other one is on, you know, painting the materials on this kitchen cloth that I've been doing for some time now. So I do a paper design as well of exactly the same materials, and this is what you're going to be seeing. So there's, like I say, there's 3 batteries. So we do that carbon, the all carbon one with the graphite plate, and they're all the same format. The electrodes are the same, so we've got a graphite plate and we've got a carbon fibre weave plate as well. So that's the same format all the way through, even with the paper battery. So they're all carbon, there's no aluminium or anything like that. The paper one is about, I think it's about 7 centimetres by 8 centimetres or something like that, about that big. So I test that as well. And if you were to ask me why, I don't know, it's just because it's a paper battery, you know, to see how it does in that format as well. And the third one is the larger one, where what I've done, these old 1mm graphite sheets that I said I'd never use again, and I will move away from, I've just put 2 together like that basically. So I think we've got about 140 millimeters by something like 80 millimeters or 90 or something like that. It's not massively big, as you can see, you know. That's it, and that's the other battery that I've been running. And what I do is, what you're going to see me do is a charge and a discharge, obviously, but a charge and a short circuit first to see what the peak current's like. I've had some quite high peak currents of late. So what I do is I devise a carbon, or make up a carbon blend for the cathode, and I put it on all 3 of these batteries. with the anode being exactly the same as I've been using in past videos, which is the activated carbon, the regular common variety of activated carbon from coconut, where they say it's from coconut, I hope it is, with functional groups, well, nitrogen groups. So that's, I've used that all the way through, as you probably know. Now, the cathode is the only thing that's going to change, and the only thing that has been changing on these batteries. Yes, we know that you can use the same anode material and the same cathode material. We know that, but that's not what I'm about. And if you've seen any of my past videos, you'll know that. I'm developing my own carbons, hopefully. Now, some of this work, I must admit, has involved manganese dioxide on the cathode, but blended with other stuff. So you know, you're going to see that as well. Now, to carry on with, you know, where we're going to be in the future, the new video format, you're going to see those 3 batteries, like I said. And what I'm going to do is an individual video of each material that I'm testing. And I'm testing a material now as we speak. It's on charge now. I've been testing this today. And it is, it's carbonised leaves. You know, leaves off a tree. And it's proving to be quite good. So that will be the first video that you see in this new series. Carbonised leaves. But I didn't just carbonise leaves in the kiln. What I did was I blended them with sugar, or this syrupy sugar mix that I've been doing. Caramelised sugar. And a bit of sulphur as well. So that's the first one. I've only tried it on the test piece at the moment, and it's looking pretty good. It gave 1.2 amps on the short. That's a good start, isn't it? So anyway, what I shall do next is build a paper version of it, test that, and then I shall test it on the larger battery that I've mentioned, and we'll see the results of all 3. But there have been some interesting developments of late. I've been reading papers for ages now about certain things, batteries obviously, certain designs, and one of the things that crops up quite a lot is pH, your electrolyte, the pH levels of your electrolyte. Now that crops up. Now the pH level of your electrolyte is going to be fairly obvious with whatever you're doing, whatever you're mixing, whatever you're trying. If you're mixing acid solutions, it's going to be acid, isn't it? The pH is going to be acid. If it's alkaline, it's going to be alkaline, isn't it? You know. And then there's some neutrality in between, depending on what you're doing. So I've been looking at this, and then lo and behold, and I'm not going to say too much about this either right now on this video, someone else has joined my group, if you like, become a subscriber, and I do talk about this guy a lot in my next video, and he's been talking about something really interesting, and it's called an exclusion zone. And this exclusion zone exists between not your anode and your cathode, it exists between your anode and your separator, and your separator and your cathode. There are 2 exclusion, well, the whole thing is called an exclusion zone, but I think we can safely say that there are 2 exclusion zones. And I'm just going to try and demonstrate while I'm talking about this, the pH levels. And it's the pH levels across your battery. How vastly different things can be. I don't want to talk too much about it now because I want all of this to be in these new format videos, obviously. But what I'm going to be doing is, well, I'll do it right now, and hopefully I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to take a piece of this stuff, the old litmus paper, I've got a battery on charge there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the anode side of the separator. I'm going to put the other end on the cathode. This battery is on charge. Bear with me. So that dip there is the anode. Now I'm going to do the cathode. Okay, so I've just dipped the anode and I've just dipped the cathode. I'm just going to give this a few seconds to do its magic, and then I'm going to show you what I mean. Well, I think it's safe to say that I can show you now. I'm hoping you can see that, because the dip on the anode, the pH value or level, is kind of 8/9, and the cathode is a fairly acidic 3/4. Now this value changes all the way through the charge. If you start to charge a battery and try this pH test, you'll get a result. If you do it at the end of the charge, you'll get a slightly different result. And if you do this in a discharge state across your battery, you'll get a completely different result. And if you test this throughout the discharge phase, you will also get a completely different result. Now the whole point of me telling you about this is that chemistry there means quite a lot, and I'm not going to talk about it in this video. It's just a general outline of what you can expect to see from me and my work on that bench there in the near future, hopefully. So like I say, each individual carbon that I've produced, I will be testing on 3 batteries. One small, one large, one paper design. And we're going to be looking at these pH values. I'm going to be talking about the electrolytes, which is going to be the same all the way through. And I've been saying for quite some time now, it's choline chloride, or I think in the US they say choline chloride. I say choline. I think Robert Murray Smith says choline, but it's pronunciation, you know, it's we all know what it is. And urea, that's it, hydrogen bond donor. So that's about it really. It's going to get a little bit more technical, a little bit more exciting, shall we say. Right, I've I've modified the electrolyte, and what I wanted to do was just, it's not fully charged. I mean, it's still drawing 500 milliamps there. I'm charging at 3 volts, and I just wanted to try a short circuit again. So I'm going to turn off that charger, just check this short circuit current. Yeah, okay, 2.6 amps, thought as much. That's going back on charge. I'm going to charge it fully and see what we can get from this now. Wow. Okay, I'll just give that another couple of minutes of charge. We're back at 530 milliamps on the power supply. I'm going to turn that off because I don't know whether I was seeing things before. So 2.5 volts, 2.9 amps. Wow. Wow. That is unbelievable. That is just unbelievable.
that's it. Because I've got an inquisitive mind, we've done these short circuit tests. I'm charging this back up now. I've just tried it for short circuit and all the rest of it, but I'm charging at 5.2 volts, well 5.4 actually, we've got 5.29 there, 5.35 there, which is at the battery. Well, that says 5.22, but that's from the power supply. That's at the battery, and so is that 5.22, 5.29. What I'm going to do, I've got to see this, so I'm going to turn that off. That's set on 10 amps, and hopefully that's the current. And I'm going to leave that like that. I need to see this. So we're at 2.6 amps. That's a dead short, constant current, dead short on the meter. 2.5 amps. I just needed to see this. Because what I'm going to do next, not right now because it's very late again, I've said that I want a 1 amp hour battery, 1 amp for 1 hour. Now it's not going to be easy to achieve, but I needed to see this and see how long this will last in a dead short, and it will give me some indication or some idea of where I need to be, you know, capacity wise, and what I've got to do or try to do, you know, or build to get what I want to achieve. Now the battery voltage, as you can see, is down to 0.2 there, well 0.21, 0.19, 0.19. They're agreeing now, and we're still at 1 amp. It's not for very long, we know that, but it's a start, isn't it? Now I know how long I charged that for, and it weren't very long, trust me. It was not very long at all. I know it was just over 5 volts, but it wasn't for very long. And we're still at 700 milliamps. This is a dead short, absolute dead short. So what I'd like to do now at 600 milliamps is do that and see if we get any recovery at all. And yes, we do. Over a volt. So there you go. Now I'm not going to wait around for that. Like I said, it's late. I need to go. Right. The last time you saw this battery, I was probably short circuiting it or whatever. I think we did a 100 milliamp run. I think that was the 46 minutes there. It's on charge at the moment, 2.6 volts. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to turn the motors on. As you can see, it was over 200 milliamps. All of the motors are running there, all 10 motors, 191 milliamps now. It's certainly got some kick, this one. I mean, it started all of those with no hesitation whatsoever. On this one I've just ever so slightly modified the anode material, so I don't know whether I've made it better or worse. We shall see. But good recovery. Now if I do that again, they're just going to go, aren't they, you know? No hesitation, just off they all go. 180 milliamps. Yeah. So, well, I was going to say I don't really know if it's any better or any worse, but I'll put it on the data logger and we'll see. Right, I've built a different, well, I was going to say a different design. It's the same design, slight modification. I'll talk more about that in a bit, but it's been on charge for about 3 or 4 minutes at the moment. I just wanted to try, because I'm Mr. Impatient, a short circuit, so that's on 10 amps. I just, this particular setup should give me more power. So, well, more power, more everything, more peak current on the short circuit. So I'm just going to try it. It is nowhere near charge, but here we go. Wow. I think that said 3.5 amps. In fact, I'm sure it said 3.5 amps. So, yeah, it's kind of working then. I'm going to leave that on charge. It's charging at the moment at 2.6 volts. Okay, it's a new day today, it's Sunday. Everything you've seen so far was yesterday. Yesterday evening I ran the data logger 50 milliamp load, and it ran for an hour and 13 minutes. The energy rating was 78 milliwatt hours and the capacity was 61 milliamp hours. In the cold light of day I don't really know if that's any good, to be honest, for this particular cell. I know I did a short circuit on it. I've just got here now. It's early Sunday morning and I've put this on charge at 3.4 volts. First thing I'm going to do again is just check to see what that short circuit was, because if from memory it was over 4 amps, but if I turn off that charger like so and do that, well, yeah, 4.4 amps as a peak current, which I thought was pretty good actually. I'm just going to try that again. Yeah, 4.2 amps. I mean, 4.2 amps from that is just, well, I want 5 now, don't I?
I'm certainly learning more. This subject with these pH levels and exactly what happens and what it does, you know, I don't know 100% yet. I'm still learning. I'm learning. It's a new section of the chemistry that, to be honest, I'm just looking at now. So it's going to take a while for it all to sink in and for me to work things out and work out what happens and why it happens and all the rest of it. And as soon as I know, I'll let you know. And now I'm not talking about, I'm not talking to the already educated on the subject, you know. I'm talking about the people out there that are like me, just an amateur. That's all I am. I'm not a chemist. I'm not a scientist. I've got no letters after my name, although a few people that put a few letters after my name from time to time. I could do it. D-U-M-B, because I am at times. But yeah, that's it. there was something else. What was that? Oh yes. A situation has occurred, and this situation I don't understand. This situation, I don't know why it's occurred, why it's happened, why it is happening. I've got no idea, actually. No idea whatsoever. And what it is certain people that have visited my channel and I speak to on a regular basis, or have done. Yeah, we have a chat, you know, whether it's on the channel, via the messaging on the channel, or email, or whatever. And these people I speak to, like I say, quite regularly, have done, until recently. And there are certain people, all of a sudden, don't know why, like I say, don't know what I've done, got no idea why this is occurring, have stopped speaking to me. What's that all about? Now, I'm not going to mention any names and get silly like that, but there's kind of, I'd say four, yeah, possibly 5 people that all of a sudden don't want to speak to me for some reason. I don't know. Now, am I certain about that? Yeah, fairly certain. Because, well, how do I know? Well, when you send someone a message and you don't get an answer, you send another message, you don't get an answer, you send an email, you don't get an answer, and then you send that same person another message or another email and you don't get an answer, there's obviously a problem. And like I say, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what I've done wrong. As far as I'm concerned, I've done nothing wrong at all. All I do is what I'm doing now, and I talk about batteries. That's all I do. But obviously, for some reason, these people don't want to speak to me anymore, which is fair enough. I don't care. I did care, but I don't now, and that's it. I mean, I've got to be honest. Do you know what? I can remember a time when I was like this, where I wouldn't speak to certain people because of whatever reason. I think I was about 6 or 7 at the time, and it was in the playground at school. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I've had me say now, haven't I? These people, and they know who they are. They know exactly who they are. Do you know what? Don't speak to me again. Fair enough. If you don't want to like be manly about it and like say, well, you've upset me because of so and so, or this has upset me, or that's upset me, then don't. I'm not bothered. I couldn't give a flying fig, really. I'm just going to carry on doing what I do, and that's all there is to it. Do you know what? Life is too short. And Robert Murray Smith hit all of the nails on the head with that video that he did about problems with people on YouTube and the haters and all the rest of it. You know what? Life is too short to worry about it. He was bang on. Loads of my own sentiments in that video. So anyway, I'm getting a bit angry, and I shouldn't be. Calm down. I'll calm down. First one. So look, I've said that piece, and I've explained what's going on, what's going to be going on. It should be, from now on, quite enjoyable for certain people, because I fully explain everything from now on. I don't hold stuff back and all the rest of it. I tell you exactly what I've done in the blends, on the cathode materials. The electrolyte's going to remain the same until I find exactly what I want from carbons, which is the wrong way to do it, I know, because certain chemistries with certain carbons within the electrolytes and the way everything works, ionic liquids and the way ions work, and it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a minefield. But what I plan to do is use the same electrolyte, and that's it, because I've had some rubbish results from this electrolyte, and I've had some fantastic results from this electrolyte. The binder will stay the same as well. That's going to stay the same throughout. I'm not going to change it, and it's again, it's going to be the RMS one, the Sigibut, you know, cellulose acetate in acetone. That's it. I'm not going to change. So those two things won't change. Although I've got to say, and when I do make a change, I'll let you know. I won't just make a change and say, oh, look at this result. I'll let you know in the videos everything that's going on. There are going to be some new electrolytes. Don't want to talk about it now, but we're going to be looking at, and there are papers on this, propylene glycol. So if you want to Google it, Google Scholar, have a little look. I'll mention in the first video, I think, a certain paper revolving around this one particular electrolyte, and I'll talk about the person that sent me the details on that one, and I hope it works. I haven't tried it yet. I've got all the stuff there on the shelf ready to go, ready to trial and test this new electrolyte, or an addition for my existing electrolyte, shall I say. So that's another exciting one, and there's two parts to that. There's two different versions of it. So like I say, what will happen is, as I do it, you will know at that time, and I'll tell you whether it was any good, or I'll tell you if it was rubbish, and I wouldn't never say don't bother, that's rubbish. It was quite possibly only rubbish with what I was trying at the time, so I would never say that. But anyways, that's what's going on, that's what's happening. Future videos, that's what they're all going to be about. Those 3 batteries, the same material on the 3 batteries, and the results that the 3 batteries give. 2 regular style batteries with this paper towel, this kitchen cloth separator, and 1 paper battery, which is obviously a paper separator. And I want to see the differences throughout with all 3. We know that the big battery is going to give bigger power. That's just obvious, isn't it? But these small ones, I mean, the other thing is, I don't do 30 milliamps anymore as a constant current load. My starting point now is 50 milliamps, 50 milliamps, and I go up from there. I will, that big battery, you know, I say big, like I say, it's about 140 mil by 70 mil, 80, whatever. I tested it at 50 milliamps, and then I tested it as 100, and then 150, and then 200, and it was pretty good. You know, the milliwatt hours and the milliamp hour ratings were quite good. So what did I do then? I went up from there. And I will just quickly say one thing. It's the first time with this all carbon design that I've run a 1 amp test, as in 1 amp constant current loading test. So all that is in this other video now, so I'm not going to say any more, am I? Yeah, it's got quite interesting actually. So that's it. I'm going to leave it at that for now. I've told you what's going on. I know I've said 5 minutes. It's probably been about half an hour or something, I don't know. But you know, for that I can only apologise. But at least you know what's going on now with everything, including people that don't want to speak to me anymore. So, bit of that. I'll catch you soon. Hopefully, it's Saturday now, tomorrow being Sunday. Hopefully that other video will be available to see tomorrow evening, UK time. I'm guessing in other parts of the world it'll be the following morning or whatever, but I can't do anything about that. I'm on my own time, UK time, and that's it. So yeah, I'll speak to you all soon. You be good.